North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un is so determined to protect his DNA and maintain an air of secrecy around his health that he has taken the extreme measures to travel to China with his own toilet, according to the New York Post. The secret toilet is located on the green armoured train the dictator used to travel to China for the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II parade, and is specifically designed to protect his DNA and any clues about his health. A South Korean intelligence official told Japanese media outlet Nikkei Asia the physical condition of the supreme leader has a major impact on the North Korean regime. And in another bizarre ritual for the supreme leader, aides of Kim Jong Un were filmed thoroughly cleaning the area following his meetings. And in another bizarre spectacle from the festivities, Kim Jong Un and Russian President Vladimir Putin were seen exchanging pleasantries and even embracing at the end of the summit, where Putin invited Kim Jong Un to Russia, according to Reuters. The huge military parade in Beijing flexed the might of China and their allies in attendance, which included Russia, India, and Pakistan. Notably, Western leaders were excluded from the momentous occasion, which US President Donald Trump did not take well. He released a Truth Social post sarcastically saying, "The big questions to be answered is whether or not President Xi of China will mention the massive amount of support and blood that the United States of America gave to China in order to help it secure its freedom from a very unfriendly foreign invader. Many Americans died in China's quest for victory and glory. I hope that they are rightfully honored and remembered for their bravery and sacrifice. May President Xi and the wonderful people of China have a great and lasting day of celebration. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong Un, as you conspire against the United States of America. President Donald J. Trump." Whilst Trump did not hold back in his comments about the display of friendship between anti-Western nations, CNN in the US were blasted for their positive commentary about the parade.
This is a message of strength. This is a message of victory. After all, they are commemorating the 80th anniversary of the surrender of Japan. China was a major battleground in World War II for 8 long years, to the tune of perhaps around 20 million Chinese casualties during the Japanese military's invasion and occupation of parts of China. This is a demonstration to China and the world that China is strong, it can protect itself, and that Xi Jinping is the ruler of this country.
This online commentator said, CNN is giving the Chinese military parade more positive press than they gave to President Trump's parade. That says everything. Sky News US analyst Michael Ware says the closer all of these anti-Western countries come together, the worse it is for the West.
A lot of this, you rightly point out, India's a friend of ours as well. I mean, as other nations in this region are, but Donald Trump had recently said to India, look, you've got to stop buying oil from Russia. But India gets it very cheaply, and Narendra Modi's primary job is to look after his own people, right? So if they're all together, and you point out it's a very much an anti-Western sentiment there in Beijing this week, as there often is. But what happens? What comes out of this? Is there a stronger pushback against the United States, the West, etc.? What could we expect in the West?
Yeah, look, this could take many forms, the product of this conference. Certainly previous ones have not issued a joint statement supporting Russia and Ukraine. Is that now a possibility? Because North Korea is going, Kim Jong Un, and he's going to literally be meeting face to face with, President Xi of China and with President Putin of Russia. And we know how reliant Russia has been on North Korea for drones, technology, and actual troops in its war. So we may see some impact on the Ukrainian front line or in that Ukrainian area of operations. We're also seeing these closer ties with India and China. That's the most concerning part. They've already announced that they're going to step up some trade, that China no longer sees threat coming from India so much as it's seeing development opportunities. The closer those two get, the worse it is for Australia particularly, but all of us in the Western alliances. Because if there's one country in the region that China worries about, it's India, because they have a 3,800 kilometre shared border. They've been at a military standoff since a 2020 clash. Now they've patched that up and they have a new border patrol agreement and everything's progressing forward. None of that is good news for the Trump administration or the rest of the West.
You know, it's interesting too, Michael. India for a long time has wanted to get on the UN Security Council, right? The 5 permanent members. It wants to be the 6th permanent member. China doesn't want that though, does it? Because it'll lose some of its influence.
Well, that may change. That's a big call, but we are seeing incremental, progress in their relationship. China hasn't wanted them on the permanent members of the Security Council because they're combatants.
Yeah.
They're adversaries, militarily and economically. As I said, they have border clashes going back since the 1950s. Really bad one where 20 soldiers died in hand-to-hand fighting 5 years ago. Well, all of that's been wiped away. So would China oppose them as much now? One wonders, although they wouldn't want to dilute the power of the 5.
Yeah, I mean, Germany and Japan, I mean, they all want to become that 6th member as well, so whether that changes or not, it's probably unlikely.
And whilst all eyes were on the rarely seen Kim Jong Un, President Xi and President Putin were also having some very interesting and somewhat bizarre conversations. This one about human immortality caught on hot mic.
Раньше у нас говорят, что очень редко кто старше 70 лет. А сегодня говорят, что он 70 лет, это еще ребенок.发展，人类的器官会不断的移植，甚至越活越年轻，甚至会长生不老。预测呢，本世纪呢，可能未来可以活到150岁。